It's time for Coach's Corner on KCCR, presented by the South Dakota Office of Attorney General, Division of Consumer Protection. Coach's Corner on KCCR and online at kccrradio.com is also brought to you by Bank West, Capital City Ford, Lincoln, and Toyota, Todd's Electric, Oahe Federal Credit Union, Shane's Pharmacy, Missouri River Dentistry, CHS River Plains, Edward Jones Financial, Ferding Electric, First Dakota National Bank, Gales Gas, and Lamb Motors. And now, your host for Coach's Corner, John Winkler.
And a good evening as we welcome you here inside the KCCR studios as we get set for another edition of Coach's Corner, our 1st of December. And we'll have just 3 before we break for a couple weeks with the Christmas and New Year's holiday coming up. We'll talk with the coach, Micah Miller of the Pierre Governor Gymnastics team. We'll talk with her, along with also talk with Ben Caven, the head coach of the Pierre Girls Wrestling team. And then Coach Chris Foshheim and Mendel Miller, as they are the coaches of the St. Louis County basketball team, girls basketball team, as their season gets underway next week. Looking forward to another great show here tonight and back for another edition of Coach's Corner. We'll return and have more Coach's Corner next here on KCCR and online at kccrradio.com.
During the summer months, residents may encounter someone at their door looking to sell a product or a service, especially with the recent storms and flooding. The Attorney General's Consumer Protection Division offers these tips. Avoid high-pressure sales tactics. Check for ID, such as a revenue license and proof of insurance. Ask for references and compare prices with local businesses. If you have questions regarding a door-to-door sale, contact the Attorney General's Consumer Protection Division at 800-300-1986 or at consumerhelp@state.sd.us.
As community bankers, BankWest employees are deeply committed to supporting local causes, growing the local economy, and creating local opportunities. At a time when you can bank anywhere, we hope you choose BankWest. We'll be your financial partner for the long haul, helping you and your community achieve financial success. BankWest. Convenient, connected, committed. Member FDIC.
Score big on your next vehicle purchase with Lamb Motor Company in Oneida and Gettysburg, Lamb Chevrolet and Implement in Oneida, and Lamb Auto Sales in Pierre. Check out their large selection of new and pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs at any one of their locations, or go online to lambmotor.com. That's LAMBMOTOR.com. Or give them a call today at 800-952-2222. Lamb Motor Company of Oneida and Gettysburg, Lamb Chevrolet and Implement in Oneida, and Lamb Auto Sales in Pierre.
Building a home. It's the biggest investment most of us make in a lifetime. Not to mention, it's a decision that, well, you pretty much live with day and night. The quality of the workmanship stares back at you like a reflection. It also affects the value of your investment. Choosing the right contractor is critical. Kruger Contracting is that contractor. Call 222-2523. Quality workmanship and materials completed on time. Kruger Contracting. In a word, quality. Call 222-2523.
You're listening to Coach's Corner on Central South Dakota's sports leader, KCCR.
You like that? You like that?
As we welcome you back to Coach's Corner here on KCCR and online at kccrradio.com. Joining me is Coach Micah Miller of the Pierre Gymnastics team as their season gets set to start on Thursday and will be at home on Saturday. Coach, you get this first couple weeks of practice for you to be the new head coach and get ready for the season. How has the first couple weeks been getting ready for the year?
They have been better than I ever could have expected. These girls, they are motivated to do new skills, motivated to have their scores increase from whatever they were last year, have our overall team score boost in any way that they can make that, and makes my job really easy because I can just ask them to try something and they are all willing to do whatever they need to make themselves better from last year. So it's been awesome.
Well, and you obviously a Pierre graduate in 2020, and we're very good in the gymnastics side of things, and being able now to be on the coaching side. What's the adjustment for you been like to kind of stand and maybe watch a little bit? Maybe you're doing that a little bit, your senior, junior year to kind of watch some of the younger girls, but now doing that fully, what's kind of that adjustment been like?
It has been interesting because I can see, like, when girls get scared of new skills or frustrated already early in the season, just putting myself back in that position of how I felt and just taking a beat, realizing that they are not the same gymnast that I was, and so figuring out what works best for them has been a really cool learning curve to deal with, and so far so good, I guess.
This team graduated 4 or 5 seniors last year, a couple seniors, or just maybe one senior this year. Going into the season, it's still a young team, so what do you kind of expect from them early on?
Yeah, we do have 2 seniors. One of them was one of our main varsity gymnasts last year. Another one did some JV meets. But yeah, with my younger ones coming into this year, like I said, they're just motivated more than I even expected them to be to kind of show that they're ready to fill those senior positions. And some of those were pretty big shoes to fill. So they have shown that they're ready to roll and they're going to fill those shoes.
Well, and like you said, too, a lot of those seniors were on the varsity squad last year. So you coming in as the first-year head coach, a lot of positions opened up, a lot of spots opened up. Got to be kind of nice to see that competition early on to see who's going to get those varsity spots. And maybe those won't be the same by the end of the year. Maybe they will be. But a good opportunity for everybody to kind of come in with a fresh slate and really compete for those spots.
Yeah. Even just looking at this first Huron meet, it's compete seven for JV and varsity, which we have, 12 gymnasts that are eligible to, I think 13 that are eligible to compete 7th through 12th grade. And so having the numbers show that a couple are going to compete varsity on Thursday, some will compete JV, some are going to do varsity all-around that probably have never done a varsity all-around before. So I know Carrie Westover and I are really, really excited to see how those scores lay out and just who steps up and shows what they've been working on and who maybe cracks a little bit under pressure, and then we can just build on that for later in the season.
And is it really nice, too, that you're going to be at it in Huron's usually that first meet every season, but there's only 3 teams. Is that really nice to kind of get more of an intimate setting? Not, there's not 20 teams that you're trying to worry about and trying to keep track of your girls and everything else. Just the 3 teams. How nice is that to be able to kind of really focus on yourselves?
Yeah, absolutely. It's an amazing meet to be the first one of our season. The only downfall is that peer invite comes 2 days later, but still we're really excited for that. But having such a small meet be our first one and being able to compete so many of our athletes, it's just a great start to the season to see where scores are lining up, what judges are seeing, and how they are scoring those routines, and then just how we can fix them really early on in the year versus waiting for a JV middle school meet or something like that coming later in the year.
And you mentioned it too, the peer invite at the high school on Saturday. You go from the first meet, 1 day of rest and practice, and go right into that home meet. Then you'll be back again on Monday. So it's a pretty hectic first week from Thursday to Thursday of the next week. But being able to be at home as early as you are, how nice is that too? After that first meet, kind of be able to kind of see what needs to still be worked on, and then knowing that you're going to be at home in familiar territory going on Saturday.
Yeah, it's something the girls and I are really excited for, getting first meet bugs and jitters out of the way in Huron, and then being able to compete on our home equipment there's nothing that beats competing on your home equipment. And even though we do have that day's rest, the girls are still willing to push themselves and compete those higher skills that maybe we won't do in Huron, but we're going to save for peer invite for our home equipment. So the 1 day break, it sounds hectic, but it's not slowing them down at all.
Then you don't slow down again because you're back at home for a Monday meet. Then you go back on the road on Thursday. The good with the bad of being able, maybe it's not as good to have those meets all in a row, but maybe it is good to just go and just get competitions in. What's the benefit of being able to compete 4 times in the span of 7-8 days?
We get 4 scores from potentially 4 different judges. I don't know the judges list of who's all at what event and what meet, but you just get 4 different sets of eyes watching essentially the same routine. Hopefully those scores can improve within those 4 meets, but it's definitely a benefit to just get all those numbers in and see how they are improving with just getting one judge's perspective and then going on to the next meet and then getting another judge and just reading what they're saying and fixing it.
I can talk with Coach Micah Miller here of the Pierre Gymnastics team as they will have their first competition Thursday in Huron and then be at home on Saturday. So we'll as we start to wrap things up, first kind of thing is the Thursday meet. Biggest key, what's the biggest thing that you want to see from the girls in that first meet on Thursday?
I told them as my head coach's goal for them that I want 8 threes and above, whether it comes from bars, whether they come from floor, whether it comes from whatever, but just starting them off on that expectation that I expect our team scores to bump up, which ultimately increases our individual scores and it increases our all-around gymnast scores. So that was my head coach goal for them, and then they all set their individual goals, but just having confidence, having them get a little confidence under their belts of they can do these skills in practice, and now they can actually go and do it in front of a judge. So.
And then Saturday, does anything change in terms of biggest key? What maybe does change on Saturday when you have that peer invite at home?
Hopefully, we meet that 8 threes that we get, and then I can bump it up to 8 5s, or we just boost our team score even more. Kind of waiting to see what Thursday looks like. But again, these girls have been doing awesome, so I expect them to meet that goal that we all set for each other and then make a new goal after Saturday when they meet that goal. And just doing some of those skills on our home event or home equipment.
And again, being the first event for you as the head coach, how nervous are you? How excited are you to get this first event going? Maybe for you, the girls will have their nerves that will kind of settle in. Will you be able to settle in a little bit with some of the nerves in that first meet too?
Oh gosh, I am nervous, but not because of them, not for any of their skills, not for any of their performances. It's like the excited nervousness of just wanting to get it going, and I have wanted this coaching job since I graduated. So having the opportunity to actually show them as my gymnast and the school and the community that this job is meant for me and I'm going to kill it, that I think is nerve-wracking, but I think they'll do great, and it'll make Carrie and I look great, and it'll just be a really good program.
Well, Mike, I appreciate the time. It was good talking to you. It's good getting this season underway. We'll talk more as the season goes on, but good luck Thursday, good luck on Saturday, and good luck here this season.
Perfect. Thank you.
That is Micah Miller, the head coach of the Pierre Gymnastics team, back with more of Coaches Corner after this here on KCCR and on YouTube and online at kccrradio.com.
During the summer months, residents may encounter someone at their door looking to sell a product or a service, especially with the recent storms and flooding. The Attorney General's Consumer Protection Division offers these tips. Avoid high-pressure sales tactics. Check for ID, such as a revenue license and proof of insurance. Ask for references and compare prices with local businesses. If you have questions regarding a door-to-door sale, contact the Attorney General's Consumer Protection Division at 800-300-1986 or at consumerhelp@state.sd.us.
Did you know it is important for your child to see the dentist at the time their first tooth erupt? A healthy smile begins at birth, and there are many variables, from healthy eating habits to good oral hygiene and routine dental care. Hi, I am Dr. Michelle Hofer. At Missouri River Dentistry, we enjoy working with people of all ages. Dentistry is our profession, but people are our focus. I invite families to come experience an office that uses the latest techniques and equipment to be sure you receive that healthy and happy smile. To schedule your appointments for your family, call us at 223-2021. Kids love us, parents trust us.
This fall, take some time to think about your future while the leaves make their way down to earth and the last sunset of summer leaves us with an autumn chill. It's time to grab the nearest foam finger and break out the face paint. Rush the stands with First Dakota National Bank and forget how to blink. Fall sports are back with jaw-dropping plays, an electric atmosphere, and epic scores. Make some noise with First Dakota National Bank. Open a new account online today at firstdakotanationalbank.com. Member FDIC.
It takes hard work to reach goals. It's a truth that applies to more than just sports. It also goes for your financial goals. You work hard for your money. You deserve an investment strategy that lines up with your game plan. Your local Edward Jones financial advisor can help. If your investments aren't getting you closer to the win, visit edwardjones.com or stop by your local Pierre area Edward Jones office for a financial review. Edward Jones, making sense of investing. Member SIPC.
me talk to you.
You're listening to Coach's Corner on Central South Dakota's sports leader, KCCR.
Yeah.
As we welcome you back to Coach's Corner here on KCCR and online at kccrradio.com. Joining me is Coach Ben Caven of the Pierre girls wrestling team as they get set to open up the season coming up on Friday in Watertown. Coach, the last time we talked, we talked briefly after the wrestle-offs last week Tuesday, going then into the Thanksgiving holiday, and now getting ready for that first tournament coming up on Friday. Let's first talk about you mentioned about the wrestle-offs. What kind of led into the next couple of practices? Obviously, with Thanksgiving and stuff in there too, we could talk about that as well. But what kind of led into the next practices, getting ready for this first tournament, and now that you saw those girls in some of those wrestle-offs?
Yeah, the best thing about the early season wrestle-off stuff is you get to see the stuff we need to work on, and that's what we've been focusing on. Been working a lot on our feet, top, bottom, sort of just everything to get the girls ready, fine-tuning things, so to speak.
How difficult is it to work around the Thanksgiving break without any school, a lot of food being consumed? How difficult is it then to make sure that girls are, whether there's maintaining weight, whether it's just being ready for practice without school? How difficult can that last week be?
Well, I guess it's sort of the joys of being a wrestler. It's that discipline thing that plays a big factor in everything that we do, but. Most of the girls got things under control, so it wasn't too bad. They're still working on their descent plans and such. So, but we don't really get too much in conditioning stuff yet because of that. We just sort of work on technique and just work on getting better every day, I guess.
You go into Watertown on Friday, and again, before we start talking about that tournament, your roster here this year, 5 of the 6 girls or 7 girls or 6 of the 7 girls or 6 of the 8 girls that placed last year in the state championships and the state tournament are back again this year. And some of those names being with let's see, Danny Rinksmeyer had graduated, but Lexi Hilmer returns, Kesri Benning returns, as well as also Abby Lewis, Jada Stanke, and Briley Pelly all returned from last year. How nice is it to be able to lean on some of those girls early on to the first part of the season, knowing that they've been in those, whether it be the championship match or the 7th place match they were placing last year. How nice is it to lean on some of those girls early on?
Absolutely. No, their experience is huge. Getting in there and getting that feel of what it feels like to being under big lights, stressful situations, high anxiety. That's what gives you the edge in a lot of these tough matches. So, as far as things it's doing for our younger girls, they're seeing how these girls are acting in practice and on the mat and all that other type of things. But the girls also got to understand that them just being in the practice room and seeing how they practice and how they drill, the girls see that and now they know how they're supposed to be, how they're supposed to act. So it's more of a mimic thing, I guess you could say, but they're those girls we have coming back are a huge part of this team, obviously.
Again, talking with Coach Ben Caven of the Pierre girls wrestling team. And Coach, we had a chance to kind of chat a little bit about this last week, but for some that maybe didn't catch it or and don't know that a lot of these girls, a lot of these wrestlers, that especially those younger ones, you've not, yes, you are a new head coach to the varsity wrestling team, but you're not a new coach to the wrestling program in Pierre. And you've seen a lot of these girls being able to grow up, but also being able to coach some of these girls as well prior to starting this year.
Yeah, so I'm also I was the girls director for USA Wrestling, so I got to work with a lot of the girls this summer at camps, Fargo and Indiana and that type of thing. And then obviously we had open mats during the summer. So no, it's nice to end all last year. So it's good to see them growing, coming in and working. And even if it wasn't for wrestling, they were still doing soccer and softball and the other things just to keep themselves in shape.
Watertown is your first tournament coming up this Friday. And the opportunity to go against and wrestle against other teams and someone other than yourself. What are you looking for in these girls this weekend to kind of see what else you might need to work on, or however, what are you kind of looking at going into this first weekend?
We're just looking to practice. we're looking to practice, wrestle girls that we haven't wrestled, and just have some fun, work hard, try things. Don't be afraid to fail. Just go out and wrestle as hard as you possibly can, score points, and don't worry about the win-loss stuff. I know that's hard to think about for some kids, but really you just got to go out and wrestle and do your best. Win or lose, we're going to make adjustments, and then hopefully by the end of the year we can get those losses or wins extended.
Have you seen the girls kind of be getting a little bit more excited as the week has gone on, getting ready for are they getting the anticipation of ready to go and ready to wrestle someone other than one of their teammates?
Yeah, they're starting to flow a little bit. Yesterday they had a great practice. They looked really, really good. So they're starting to get excited. They're starting to get their weight under control. Like I said, the descent plan sort of slows things down a little bit, so there's really nothing going on too crazy there. But we'll be making some moves next week, so some of the girls are actually wrestling weights. They're not going to be wrestling the whole season because of that. But, yes, I think they're excited. They're nervous, which it should be. You know, their bodies are getting ready to compete, so the stress and the anxiety, it's going to be a thing. But they'll be all right. They're ready to go.
You mentioned some of the girls won't be wrestling in the same weights, so they will be going forward in the season, and some maybe probably are wrestling those same weights. But how nice is that too, to also for some of those girls being regardless if you win or lose against them, you may not see them the rest of the year just because you might be in a different weight class. Maybe they do drop down to the same or move up to the same weight class, whatever it might be. But being able to kind of go out and like you said, not worry about wins and losses, kind of maybe adds a little bit extra of not really worrying about how things go, because you are look to see what you need just because of that you might not see those same girls again.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, anyone that's got a competitive bone in their body, they're going to get nervous and that type of thing. But when you compete hard, it doesn't make a difference who you're going against. It's still going to be there. So whether they're wrestling upper weight or where they're going to be, just getting that match time is huge for them. And, trying to push the distance, trying to wrestle every period that they can, and getting the most out of every match is just going to help them, come February.
And I'm sure for you as a coach, too, you're excited for this weekend, obviously excited to see what these girls can do, but just to kind of see what else you guys need to work on. What's the next step and everything else? Got to be kind of exciting to go and watch them compete for a weekend, and, again, then get back to the lab and start working again. Yeah.
I mean, we can only control what we can control. So we're going to wait for the first match, and we're going to go waiting for the last match. I mean, one match at a time. Obviously, there's going to be adjustments that the girls are going to have to be making, but that's how you put a great season together, by sort of evolving and making adjustments before the big meets show up.
Well, and you get the Rapid City invite the next weekend. Is it nice to have the break of this weekend and then not have anything until the next weekend? Is it nice to then be able to get a lot of practices in before that next tournament? How nice is that to maybe go from one weekend to the next weekend?
Oh, it's great, because then, like you said, it gives you that extra couple days to work on stuff and make adjustments, sort of like we were talking about. Let the girls sort of get everything back under control and get their confidence back, or keep it going depending upon the circumstances. And there's always something that arises. So it gives us time to iron things out and get ready to get back on track.
Again, talking with Coach Ben Caven of the Pierre girls wrestling team. They will be in Watertown on Friday. Coach, as we start to wrap things up, what's going to be the biggest key overall for this Governor team to have success on Friday in Watertown?
Just stick together as a team and support each other. Score points. Wrestle hard. Don't stop before the other wrestler stops. Just keep wrestling until the whistle blows, or whatever happens. I always say just let the cards fall where they fall, and we just have to go from there. So biggest thing is we want these girls to have fun, whether they're winning or losing. I know that doesn't make a lot of sense, but they just got to get the best out of every match.
Well, Coach, hey, I appreciate the time. It's good to have the first one done with you. It's going to be an exciting season for this Pierre Governor girls wrestling program. Looking forward to it. Good luck here this weekend, and we'll talk again soon.
All right, thanks a lot. Have a good day.
Absolutely. That is Ben Caven of the Pierre girls wrestling team. We'll return with more Coaches Corner after this here on KCCR and online at kccrradio.com.
During the summer months, residents may encounter someone at their door looking to sell a product or a service, especially with the recent storms and flooding. The Attorney General's Consumer Protection Division offers these tips. Avoid high-pressure sales tactics. Check for ID, such as a revenue license and proof of insurance. Ask for references and compare prices with local businesses. If you have questions regarding a door-to-door sale, contact the Attorney General's Consumer Protection Division at 800-300-1986 or at consumerhelp@state.sd.us.
Capital City Ford, Lincoln, and Toyota in Pierre is proud to sponsor today's game. Whether you're in the market for a brand new Ford, Lincoln, or Toyota, or a quality pre-owned vehicle, our team is here to get you back on the road in style. From tough trucks to family SUVs, we've got the selection you need and the hometown service you deserve. Browse online anytime at CapitalCityFordToyota.com. Capital City Ford, Lincoln, and Toyota, where community drives us forward.
Hey you. Are you at a job that is fulfilling, has good benefits to support you or a family today, and retirement goes down the road? If you just said no, listen up. CHS River Plains is hiring operations personnel, drivers, and custom applicators at several locations. These come with a knockout affordable benefit package for you and the whole family. Apply to a job with CHS River Plains and up your benefits straight up. To apply, visit us online at chsriverplains.com or stop in at one of our locations. CHS is an equal opportunity employer.
At Shane's Pharmacy, your healthcare is important, and Shane wants to be the pharmacist to take care of you. Shane's Pharmacy will make sure your prescriptions are filled in a timely manner, they will answer your questions, and they will even deliver to your home or office. Call 223-9200. Shane's Pharmacy, the pharmacy you know and trust. The number again is 223-9200. Shane's Pharmacy in Fort Pierre, proud to support high school athletics.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Now I'm playing for real.
Yeah, you're doing pretty good. What play should I call now? Maybe corner three.
He's hot. He is hot. Keep feeding that guy.
Now back to Coach's Corner with KCCR award-winning sports director John Winkler.
As we welcome you back to Coach's Corner here on KCCR and online at kccrradio.com. Join me as Coach Chris Fosham and Mendel Miller as they get set for the Stanley County girls basketball season, which is going to start next week Tuesday at home against the Chamberlain Cubs. Coaches, an opportunity for you guys to kind of step in here and take over the Stanley County girls program going into the season here and talk about, familiarity with some of the girls. Maybe there's not the familiarity with some of the girls and how being able to balance some of that or maybe just kind of step in and meet these girls for the first time, how that's been for the first couple weeks of practice.
So for me, familiarity with the girls was I've been their coach for most of their elementary career and middle school career. So it's actually been a really easy transition for me and hopefully the girls. Mendel, I would say, is a little bit different. He was with us last year for a year in middle school. And a lot of the same stuff that we ran in middle school is transferring over to what we're going to run in high school. And that's been an easy transition. And knowing the girls has helped with motivation and maybe a little buy-in even. So.
Yeah, for me, it's just learning the older girls. Some of the middle school girls are up for us and going to be playing JV and maybe some varsity and things like that. So familiar with them from coaching them last year and kind of know what they can do. But, yeah, you got to watch some games last year, so I know a little bit about the olders, but you really don't get to know them from just watching. You have to interact with them in practice and things like that. So it's been really good.
And going into this year, relatively young team with not too many upperclassmen. It's a lot of freshmen, sophomores, and a couple of juniors, and I think only one senior going into this year.
No seniors
coming into this year. So not having any of these those seniors, and so I mean that's a challenge, but also a fun challenge to see that you get to build this team for the next couple of years, not just 1 year and then you graduate 5 or 6 seniors. You get a chance to really build this team and work with this team for a couple of years.
So it's been a blessing, honestly. I mean, I wish we had a bunch of senior leadership. We don't, and it is what it is. But from a growth standpoint, if we're going to start a program and work our way into it, what better way than to start young and kind of instill what we have in mind into the players and get them all back next year.
And you guys go through the Thanksgiving holiday and talking, I was talking to the wrestling coach earlier from Pierre about the Thanksgiving holiday. It's maybe a little bit different for wrestling than it is for basketball, but there's still the challenges of getting through the holidays and maybe some kids that aren't there. And especially with how the weather was over the course of the last weekend. How has that weekend been, that first weekend of trying to get everybody that holiday weekend and then moving into this week with a full week of practice?
So I felt like we just kind of started getting into a rhythm, and then obviously you take that break and everybody goes home and it has a bunch of turkey and bees around family and a lot of distractions, and then you get back Monday morning, and there was definitely some sluggishness Monday morning, if that's a word, but we rolled right into it, and the girls actually stepped up after about the first 15 minutes, and it's been fine. Having that 4-day break is hard, but they were good.
Yeah, we did 2 days the first week, so they were ready for a rest, and so that part was good. But yeah, like Chris said, we were just kind of really starting to build momentum, and then you take 4 days off. We didn't do anything over the break at all. Gave them the whole time off, so you do kind of have to start over again. But a couple days, 3 days practice, they've just been really locked in, and we've bounced back really well and getting some things done.
This season, obviously, again, stepping into that coaching role for the fans that are going to come watch the Stanley County girls play, or whether they are coming here or watching them on a big screen somewhere, what can they expect from this Stanley County team offensively and defensively?
So I hope that they can see a lot of effort, a lot of hopefully playing aggressive. They're going to see a lot of new things because a lot of the things that we're doing this year, they didn't have the chance to do last year with the different scheme. Hopefully we play fast, hopefully we play aggressive, and hopefully we hang our hat on defense.
Yeah, absolutely. Defense first. They're young, and you have to establish what's important, and that's what we're trying to do is establish defense as being important. Like Chris said, effort. That's kind of the one thing that the player can control themselves, and if we can play with great effort, then usually good things follow.
Next Tuesday, as we're talking with Coach Fosham and Coach Miller here at the Stanley County girls basketball team, next Tuesday is the first game against Chamberlain here at home. A lot of coaches like to say, well, we're only worried about us going in that first game. Is that the same kind of sentiment, or are you guys looking at maybe some film from last year? And obviously you don't know much about Chamberlain other than what last year is until you get to that point. But how much is it all concerned about Stanley County? How much are you concerned about Chamberlain? Especially, again, you guys being the new coaches moving in for the first time, how much do you emphasize what Chamberlain does, or is it all about what Stanley County does?
So we've had so much to put in with such little time to do, especially with the holiday, that I think we're more focused on us probably than what Chamberlain's going to do. We've watched film. It's from last year. We don't know what they're going to do this year. And I'll be completely honest, we're trying to get to that game and get our stuff in, and we'll see what happens. So,
and then I believe you guys play Thursday that next week too. How nice is that to maybe get that first game in, get a practice in the next day, and then go back to work on Thursday in another game? Is it ideal, or is it not ideal to maybe have that quick turnaround? I guess maybe the results of Tuesday can talk about what Thursday will be, but how nice is it maybe to turn around and play again right after having that first game?
I would prefer to have a couple days in between, but it is what it is. We'll take it as it comes, and it's going to depend a lot on how the girls respond to that first game. I mean, as coaches, I know, me being brand new to this deal, I know that first game is going to be a whirlwind, and that next practice is not going to seem like it's long enough in between games, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, as new coaches, I think we're learning quickly how coaches in the past have told us that there's not enough time to practice, and so I think we'd love to have a week after that first game to go over what we did wrong and things like that. But with 1 day, it's going to be, and even after the first 2 games, our next 2 or 3 come right after it as well. So when we hit Christmas break, it'll be a good good break to kind of assess where we're at. Unfortunately, the season's going to be about 25% over by the time we get there. So, yeah, it somewhat feels like we're going to be swimming, but yet if we can get the girls to do what we can control well, then we like our chances.
And it's got to be nice to play at home the first game, right? And you mentioned a whirlwind for you guys being the new coaches, but to be at home is probably got to be a little extra help for not just the team to be excited, but for you guys to be excited about being able to open up the season at home.
It definitely is. It'll be nice to be in front of the home crowd, and everything's familiar. Locker room's familiar. The court's familiar. Their routine should be familiar with going to school that day and having a normal day. So, yeah, really, really happy to be at home the first game.
Yeah, and hopefully we can get a good crowd out. That's really important. First game of the year, there's a lot of energy and excitement, hopefully. And if the crowd can, show up and kind of lift the girls up and they can kind of feed off that, then that can certainly be an advantage. We definitely want to we want to try to create something at home that everybody can kind of get behind and have some energy and really support the girls and appreciate what we're trying to do.
You get to talk with Coach Fosham and Coach Miller. Stanley County girls basketball, they will open the season next Tuesday at home against the Chamberlain Cubs. And again, you guys mentioned it earlier. Coach Fosham, you mentioned it earlier about being aggressive and really a lot of effort. And, when you guys are moving into this program and kind of wanting to build that and wanting to build this program up and to be able to compete not just in every single game, but in the Region 6A and being able to make a run at the SODAC 16. And, obviously everybody wants to be at that Class A state tournament when March rolls around. But the start of this season and the start of you guys coaching want to build something, correct?
Yes. Like I said earlier, what a better opportunity than to have this young of a team going in and just being able to mold the girls into what they can be, good teammates, everything that they control on the bench, everything that they control in the game. It all ties into it, and we're really excited to build something.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody wants to go to the state tournament, and that's the goal. Believe me, that's we're not thinking this is a 10-year plan or anything like that. You don't sacrifice years. These girls get one career, and we want to maximize that as much as we can. But we do know that it's a process and it's a building process, and being as young as we are, there's going to be some harsh realities come along once in a while, but we'll learn from them and just try to keep moving forward.
As we start to run out of time here and start to wrap things up, but kind of building off of that too, what makes you most excited about this year, this team in 2025-26 Stanley County?
Probably what makes me the most excited is just watching the girls grow. A lot of them haven't had a lot of success, and I hope we get to that point. But like Coach Miller said, there is going to be some realities coming in. I mean, we're super young. We're learning a whole new system. But just watching the little victories happen, whether that's hold teams under 30 points or have 10 turnovers a game, just little victories like that, I want to see growth, and that's what I'm excited about.
Yeah, I can't say it much better. It's a process. All the coaches preach process, right? And what we're really trying to do is really just build the girls up so that they're having fun competing. And at the end of the day, the wins and losses will be what they are, but we want them to have fun and enjoy the game of basketball and become better people because they're playing the game of basketball. And that will be some growth steps that will be really exciting, and we've seen it already. It's happening in the first 2 weeks, so that's really exciting to keep that going.
All right, now last question here. Somewhat of maybe an unfair question. Maybe it's a little bit easier to answer coming up on Monday next week. But biggest key for Stanley County to get that win on Tuesday to open up the season against Chamberlain?
I think the biggest key is effort and positivity out of the girls. If they give effort, anything is possible. So,
well, coaches, I appreciate the time. It is fun talking to you guys. First of quite a few here this year on Coach's Corner. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to see the Stanley County team compete. Appreciate the time and good luck this season.
Thank you.
Thanks, John. Appreciate it.
That's head coach Chris Fosham and assistant coach Mendo Miller of the Stanley County girls basketball team. Back with more Coaches Corner after this here on KCCR and online at kccrradio.com.
During the summer months, residents may encounter someone at their door looking to sell a product or a service, especially with the recent storms and flooding. The Attorney General's Consumer Protection Division offers these tips. Avoid high-pressure sales tactics. Check for ID, such as a revenue license and proof of insurance. Ask for references and compare prices with local businesses. If you have questions regarding a door-to-door sale, contact the Attorney General's Consumer Protection Division at 800-300-1986 or at consumerhelp@state.sd.us.
Most of us already know that Gales Gas of Pierre is the place to call for propane. They offer an automatic fill plan so you never have to worry about running out of propane. They accept debit and credit payments or a budget payment plan to spread out the cost throughout the year so you never have surprises when you get your bill. For delivery, convenience, and great customer service, call Gales Gas at 224-5518. That's Gales Gas at 224-5518.
People helping people. Have you ever wondered what the benefits are of becoming a Owyhee Federal Credit Union member? At Owyhee Federal Credit Union, we reinvest profits in you. We do this in the form of lower interest rates, higher dividends, and low to no fees. So come check us out or come in at 221 East Pleasant Drive in Pierre, because at Owyhee Federal Credit Union, we treat our members like they own the place because, well, they do.
Owyhee Federal Credit Union.
Look, it's no secret that owning a vehicle can cause a lot of stress, and they get a lot of wear and tear on them through every season. Graham Tire wants you to know that you can trust them with any problem that you have with your vehicle. They have fully trained ASE certified mechanics on staff, ready to handle it for you. From brakes and bearings to alignments and front ends. Let their experience work for you. Over 50 years combined means you can count on them. So if it's time for a transmission flush or even a simple oil change, the only name you need to know is Graham Tire, 421 West Sioux Avenue in Pierre. No one likes to have electrical problems, but when they happen, call Todd's Electric at 223-2518. With over 30 years of experience, Todd's Electric can handle any type of electrical problem, whether it's residential, commercial, or agriculture. Their knowledgeable staff knows and understands the importance of your home, business, or ag facility and are prepared to help. That number again is 223-2518. Todd's Electric Service, serving the Pierre-Fort Pierre area. Todd's Electric Service, the line to power.
Hey, I'm just here so I don't get fined, so y'all can sit here and ask me all the questions y'all want to. I'm going to answer with the same answer, so y'all can shoot if y'all please.
This is Coach's Corner on your home for the Pierre Governors, KCCR, and online at kccrradio.com.
And we welcome you back here on Coach's Corner on KCCR and online at kccrradio.com. We want to thank you for joining us for another edition of Coach's Corner. We want to thank our coaches and Coach Micah Miller of the Pierre Gymnastics team, Coach Ben Caven of the Pierre Wrestling team, and Coach Chris Foshheim and Coach Mendo Miller of the Stanley County girls basketball team for joining us here this evening. We have coming up a lot of college football. We've got Thursday night football for the NFL tomorrow night. Then we've got 4 conference championship games, one Friday night, the American Athletic Conference, then the Big 12, SEC, and ACC championship games all on Saturday here on KCCR. And then, of course, a triple header of the NFL like we normally do on Sunday as we get into Week 14 of the NFL season and conference championship weekend here for college football. We'll have 2 more shows here in 2025. We've got one next Wednesday and the following Wednesday before breaking for the holidays, and then coming back in 2026. That's all coming up here over the next couple of weeks. We're looking forward to it. Can't wait to wrap up 2025, but start talking a lot more in depth with coaches with their seasons going, as we've had just the first, we'll have the first couple of winter sports seasons. We have a couple hockey games that have been played, yes, but the winter sports seasons in the for gymnastics and wrestling getting away this weekend, and then also basketball getting started next week. And we've got all here talking about it on KCCR. You can check reports and the results on our website at kccrradio.com. Wraps up Coach's Corner here this Wednesday. Be back here next Wednesday, 5:30 on KCCR. And, of course, if you missed any of the segments or want to re-listen to any of the segments or just get that full show, you can go on YouTube, KCCR Sports. Their playback anytime on YouTube at KCCR Sports. John Winkley here signing off. Have a good rest of your Wednesday nights.
You've been listening to Coach's Corner on KCCR, presented by the South Dakota Office of Attorney General, Division of Consumer Protection. Coach's Corner on KCCR and online at kccrradio.com is also brought to you by Bank West, Capital City Ford, Lincoln, and Toyota, Todd's Electric, Owyhee Federal Credit Union, Shane's Pharmacy, Missouri River Dentistry, CHS River Plains, Edward Jones Financial, Thording Electric, First Dakota National Bank, Gales Gas, and Lamb Motors. Join us each Wednesday at 5:30 on KCCR and online at kccrradio.com for more Coach's Corner. This has been a special presentation of Riverfront Broadcasting Sports, Central South Dakota's sports leader.